They said they wanted power.
Oh, awesome.
Zaba, Zakalush, Kalamaskalo.
Welcome to Guru Talks.
Guru? What do they do, like levitate and chill on mountaintops?
Not exactly, but you are in the right place to find out everything you need to know, and it's actually quite simple. I am your host, Florian Boschi, and I will be going extra deep with Guru Bhaneswaranand each and every show. We are covering deep truths about relationships, success in business, world peace, and many other topics. Oh, and of course, enlightenment. Because our Guru, well, he is enlightened. This is the 11th episode of Guru Talks. Welcome, Guru Bhaneswaranand.
Thank you.
Our topic today is about spiritual initiation, which is a wonderful topic. I've been looking forward to speaking with you about this because I think there are many misconceptions about spiritual initiation in the world. And I'm hoping that we can bring some clarity into this arena, into this topic, and at the end of the show, really get a sense of what it is for, why it is needed, what to expect from it. Guru Bhaneswaranand, can you just give us, in your words, an explanation in a few words of what spiritual initiation, what it is all about?
Spiritual initiation is a process in which Guru transfers source energy in disciple. Through him, takes care of him till he has got his own energy and tries to convert the disciple from a seed to a tree.
Before we get to the inner workings of initiation, let's talk about because what you're telling, basically, I think many people out there will think, okay, I can do the same thing without initiation by meditating, by maybe doing yoga, by doing spiritual work, by having spiritual teachers. Why do I need an initiation? What's the difference between somebody who listens to your teachings? Let's say you instruct somebody, this is my Guru mantra. If you chant the Guru mantra every day, you'll have a certain effect. Here is the yoga, do the yoga every day, it will have a certain effect, right? Be part of the fire rituals, it will have a certain effect. But what's the difference between a person who is doing spiritual work without initiation and a person who is doing spiritual work with initiation, in your eyes?
To answer this question, I should ask maybe a counter question. We can study physics, mathematics, chemistry in home. We can study languages also at home, but we can do many things on our own as the world thinks. Then there's no need of any school. We should close all of them and study at home. Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. Do you want to do that?
I mean, there is a tendency with people in universities, for example, there is more and more online study programs where people can get a whole degree by never leaving their computer. They do all the testing, all the studying, they get all the study material, they get online lectures. It's in a subjects as like physics, this is possible, yeah. The question is, of what I understand is that with spirituality, it is not possible. So that's why I was asking.
In both the cases, Look, in both the cases, it is not possible. It is the illusion which can speak that I can study everything sitting at home. But clearly speaking, deeply speaking, person learns things from the five gurus, which we have always said. And a spiritual guru is definitely much different than other four gurus because he transfers part of his energy or source energy to disciple to make him enlightened, which is not possible by reading, by learning, and by hearing.
Right, because the knowledge that is being transferred or that comes about through the transfer of energy is not intellectual knowledge. Am I correct? It is knowledge that is,
Yes.
it's more like a deeper wisdom that arises from deep within us through that gets kindled by that energy. Is that correct?
Yes, your energy level changes. I do not know what knowledge or what informations you talk about because by reading, realization is not possible. True knowledge is one which has been tested and in testing it has passed. If you pass the testing of your knowledge, then only it is called knowledge. So here in spiritual initiation, a connection between guru and disciple gets formed, and guru gives parts of energy. Some people say that part of his energy, but it is actually source energy. Part of source energy he infuses through him to disciples, and that energy inside the disciple starts growing and it forms wisdom.
Okay, let's talk about this process. How often does this transfer of energy happen? After an initiation has happened, is this process constant or always when the disciple chants? Or how does this actually in actuality happen? Can somebody who is initiated imagine himself as constantly receiving your energy, or just in the moment of initiation, or just when you concentrate on it? How does this work?
Look, initial initiation, there are several types of initiation, of course, but during the first initiation, a disciple gets energy from the guru and gets connected. So it's not the constant thing, but whenever disciple is in some trouble, in problem, confused, he can, with the help of Guru Mantra, get connected to his Guru, and usually, depending upon his concentration level, replies reaches to him or her.
Meaning that there is a communication that happens.
Yes, it's not actually, you see, if you say communication, people start thinking telephonic conversation or a conversation in form of a letter. It's energetic communication. Words does not play a very important role. You get, disciple gets connected with the guru's energy, and guru is connected with the source energy. So temporarily, disciple gets connected to the source energy through guru, and he his doubts, his problems, his questions gets resolved.
Okay, just to clarify this a little bit more, even. So you're saying, okay, so the initiation is done. Now there is a potential connection. Doesn't mean that, let's say it's 3 months after the initiation, the disciple sits somewhere in a different country than you, you haven't spoken for 2 weeks. Now the disciple has a certain problem, maybe a certain challenge, maybe certain doubts. Now the disciple sits down and opens through the mantra, through repeating the mantra, opens that avenue and energy starts to flow. Am I getting this right so far?
Yes, it happens. It happens, but you see, if the continuous connection is not there, possibility of receiving the amount of energy is low. When you are continuously connected, chances or possibility of getting energy is higher.
So with the initiation, you're continuously connected.
Yes.
Yes. So energy flows constantly from guru to disciple after initiation.
Whenever need is. You see, Guru has already given part of energy in disciples and given a mantra to develop that energy.
I see.
So it's continuously growing because of the disciples' efforts of chanting, of meditation, of whatever he is doing. But yes, uh, if there is any doubt, there is any problem, there is anything, and he sits down, goes into meditation, then source through Guru is able to help him.
Okay, I see. So really, the idea is not that there is constantly energy flowing. The idea is that you have put a cake of something or like a breeding ground of an energy or like a base energy into the person, and that energy can now start to evolve and take roots and grow branches through the help or through the students or the disciples' own chanting effort, basically.
Yes, it's a seed energy. It is called seed energy. It is called seed mantra. What is seed? Seed always grows with your efforts. You have to water it every day. You have
Okay.
to put the fertilizer to it every day. It should be in the sunlight. I mean, all these things are needed, but yes, it starts growing, and therefore it is called seed energy, seed mantra, and all.
So if you're not sure if somebody will be doing that work that is necessary every day, are you usually refusing to initiate them? Because there is not really a purpose then, right? Because you're putting in your energy or source energies through you, and then the person doesn't do anything. Does it even make sense to initiate them?
Usually, I do not. If look, I think I have been little lucky to get good disciples, but yes, if I feel that this person after initiation will not be able to do the needful work, then I ask her or him to wait for some time, give a normal mantra, give him few pranayam, give him few yoga sessions that you start doing them, prepare yourself for initiation, and then come to me.
Okay, that makes sense. And then there are also like I think you were saying that before a few minutes ago that there are actually different initiations. So depending on a person's capacity, you might also choose maybe a more simple or more basic kind of initiation to begin with for somebody.
Yes, yes, it can be done.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the differences between different initiations?
Look, initiations are of different kinds. There are many kinds of initiation. Depending upon the seed mantra, every initiation becomes different. But mainly, if I understand your question correctly, I will say that mainly these initiations can be described into three parts. The highest is initiation for enlightenment. It's also called Abhishek sometime. Then, then initiation for achievements and a basic initiation. These are the three things. If a person comes and is determined to reach enlightenment, if he wants to work a kind of full time things into spirituality, the initiation for enlightenment can be done. There are many of us who thinks they are very spiritual, but when you talk to them a little bit, try to communicate with them, you can very easily find out that they lack something in their life. And and usually they want to fulfill that lackness, and they think that a spiritual way, spiritual energy can make them fulfill this shortcomings, this lackness, and they come for initiation. They think that if I get an initiation for enlightenment, everything will become all right. We do not initiate them for enlightenment. I try to tell them the fact that you lack this, and to attain completeness, your lackness should go away. And I initiate them for achievements.
Can you give an example of what a lack could mean for people? Like somebody, please.
Somebody may have ego, somebody may have wanting for money, somebody may have wanting for something physical, somebody wanted to have a Mercedes car, or anything that any desire. So initiation for achievement is to remove the desire from the person or make him fulfill that desire.
Are all these three kinds of initiations that you described, do they all three have to be done in person or can they be done over distance?
Basic initiation can be done in distance and photograph also. Some initiation for achievements can also be done over distance, but initiation for enlightenment should be done only in person.
Okay. And what should a person expect from each one of those three kinds of initiations actually? So they come, let's say a person talks to you on the phone and wants an initiation, a mini initiation or a basic initiation, how you called it. What can they expect as a result after that? So you do the initiation, and then what will happen to them? What do you think, or what do you expect for? What should they expect out of it?
If you really want to do the initiation for enlightenment, I think do not expect anything. Let the course, let the life takes you its own course. And here, I think I have mentioned several times, from doing, you start doing undoing. And expectations gives you the sadness. Your all the expectations should stop. Whatever comes your way, live that. Accept all the situations as they are. Try to accept all human beings as they are. This is so. If you are coming with an expectation, please do not come for enlightenment initiation. For basic initiation, if you have come, you can expect that your life will change for good. You will start experiencing some happiness, something what is stuck up in you will start going away from you. And if you have come for an initiation for achievements, you will either achieve that thing or the desire of achieving that things will start diminishing and will go away slowly from you.
Okay. So it seems like those three initiations are very different. The first one is to increase general happiness.
Yeah, you can say so. Yeah, it is to enhance happiness in life, to have less problems in the relationships, to have a better life than you are living at the moment, and infusing a little spiritual energy in you, by which your expectations to from the society, from parents, from partner, from children, from in-laws reduces a little bit, and your life becomes smooth.
So what's the difference between the basic initiation and the initiation for achievement?
Initiation for achievements are only done when uh, you see, basic initiation is for general happiness without any particular things, but uh, initiation for achievements are done with a focus in one direction where your problem lies.
I see. For example, a business owner who wants to be very successful in his field, you would be able to do a spiritual initiation for achievement for that person, and then that person would continuously become more successful in that direction of their life.
Right.
And how does this happen? Because they just have more energy to work with, or what would you say is the basic mechanism here that starts working on them? Are they surrounded by beings suddenly, or is your energy working for them, or is there seed energy that you put into them increasing in them, or what's the mechanism for an initiation for achievement?
Human being cannot be understood by science as it is the mixture of science and arts. So it's not necessary that I be able to prove what I am saying, but the moment initiation takes place, your power of sankalpa increases, your determination increases, and as your determination increases, you start doing your work in a focused way and you succeed. There are, I have seen many cases who wanted to do this, and this. Then they took an initiation. This got dropped, 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 and then they started working in one direction and were successful. There is a saying, "Ekai sadhe sab sadhe, sab sadhe sab jai." You hold one, you get everything. Try to hold everything, you get nothing.
Okay, this is wonderful. That there is still at least one person that I know through my closeness through to Gurudam and the work. So I was able to watch a few of the people you initiated, and there is one person in particular who you initiated for achievement, and that person has always done 50 things at the same time, and it seems like that person is still doing 50 things at the same time. And as you always know what I think, you probably know who I'm talking about. So maybe you can comment on that without saying any names.
Yes, you see what happens ki something is available to you, energy is available to you, and it depends whether they take it or not. Sometimes, in a hope that they will change, things will start good, we initiate few people, but they do not take our energy. They come to me with a closed heart, or they come to any guru with a closed heart. Okay, I'm doing it. I don't know whether it will work or not. The ritual path is a path, sadhanatmak path is a path in which if you doubt things, they don't come to you. But slowly these doubts goes away. So in these cases, it takes some times, but still their life is changing. It is changing in a positive way. It had been their nature for so much of time in their life that I want to become this, I want to become this, and they remain confused. So after initiation also they are not able to take the complete energy from the source being provided by Guru, and sometimes it takes longer for them to understand things and succeed.
Okay, that's great. I would just like to clarify something you said about 2 minutes ago. You were speaking about that people with who get initiation for achievement, that their sankalpa becomes stronger. And I would just like to clarify that when you speak about sankalpa, I would just like to clarify for our listeners that when you speak about sankalpa, you speak about the power of our intention. Is that correct? Is that the equivalent?
Yes, yeah, it is. It is the same thing. Power of determination, power of our intention, power of. You see, you must. We all must practice this. That whenever, whatever we are doing, we take and define our intention and try to complete that. And if you keep doing this, your power of sankalpa, power of determination increases.
Okay, that's great. And I would just like to maybe speak about the doubt for one more minute. It seems interesting, and this I'm sure goes for all three kinds of initiations. It seems like the doubt in itself is a hindrance to receive the energy. So if we come with a lot of doubt, then we will only receive a little bit of energy, but that energy will keep working on us and remove our doubt eventually. So eventually we will start being able to receive more and more energy. Yes?
Yes, you're right on this.
I'm repeating what you're saying, just in different words, you know.
Yes, and the particular case which you were talking about, if you see that case, there are changes.
Oh, yes, no,
Yes,
there's no doubt
there
about
are
it.
changes, and that is what initiation does. Now, see, uh, initiation itself is a seed. And if you do not water it, if you do not provide fertilizers to it, seed also eventually dies. So, I mean, and as you have said, if you start doubting, you want to become a doctor, and when you are having a doubt whether I'll be able to make it or not, there are chances that you will not make it. Whatever you want to be in your life, put an idea in yourself, in your inner self. Live with that idea, eat with that idea, sleep with that idea, walk with that idea, do anything and everything with that idea, and you will succeed. Do not bring doubts in you. And the Shiva, once in a conversation to his wife, the masculine in a conversation with feminine has once said that I will succeed, safal hunga hi. And this faith, this trust, if you have, and this should be a kind of trust that should not break by any other force. Nobody, including God, can stop you from your success. So it is your determination, it's your energy, it's your thinking, it's your everything which takes you to success.
This is it's a little bit of a catch-22. I mean, I understand that each one of us is responsible for their own fate and for their own path, and if somebody decides to do the work and be determined, they will have a different outcome than others. There is no doubt. However, part of that process after initiation also brings you more determination, right? So
It does.
so the determination, at least in parts, is already an effect of spiritual work. Not everybody we will not be able to go to every person in the world and say, well, have more determination or have less doubt. People have
Yes.
doubts for all kinds of reasons. They might think maybe, my guru is not real, or he's lying to me, or it's this or that, or whatever it is, right? And by just saying, I will have no doubt, what happens is that we start repressing maybe doubts that we have inside of us. It's doubts are not, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, Guruji. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like doubts are not something that we always choose to have or can just choose to not have. Because if we have them, and then we just tell ourselves, I don't have any doubts, I don't have any doubts, I don't have any doubts. All we do is that we repress those doubts inside, and they will come out at a later point and be even more damaging.
See, yes, I think you are right. Number one, part of your question, the answer is that initiation does remove your doubt. Number one, if you wanted to hear that, I confirm that initiation does definitely remove your doubts. But here again, I say, if you have got doubts on Guru itself, please do not confine initiation. Take time, ask questions, clarify yourself, and then take initiation. And if still something remains, you can take for time being a basic initiation. And slowly move. Uh, and whatever you see, uh, there are two different things. You have got questions in your mind, you must ask them. But if you have got a bigger doubt, no, he is a thief, this, that, then I think it's a hindrance in your spiritual development. Take time, ask more questions to you and to him, and uh, time is a thing which will tell you everything, and slowly then you start your process.
Yeah. It's interesting because this brings us to one of the base problems that seem to exist in what you do. It's not a problem with you, but with how people are receiving the idea of spiritual initiation and the idea of a guru. It seems like maybe, and we've talked about this, that there have been false gurus, there have been sexual misconduct and all kinds of things. And I think the term guru, or the idea of needing a guru, and we have spoken about this very in depth, that there are 5 gurus and the last guru helps you to undo, and we need it. If you want to reach to a high spiritual place, you need a guru, you need somebody who is enlightened to guide you there. Still, it seems like on an emotional level, society is not or there are, I don't know if society, but on an emotional level there are people who who are wary, who are careful, who say, well, am I really ready to give so much power to another person, to basically be responsible for my gain, for my win and fail on my spiritual path? It can be a scary thing. I mean, you have to agree, right? It's not an easy thing for a person to get to a place where they say, yes, I'm going to trust this person now with my entire spiritual path. I don't even know right now where it's going to lead me, because I can't even comprehend what it means to be enlightened, but I'm going to trust this person, that they know what's right for me, and I'm going to give everything over to them, because a little bit that's what it is, right? Or is it not?
Nothing is easy in this universe, uh, including trust. But I tell you, my grandfather used to tell, if you want trustworthy people, start trusting them. And I don't know in all other lives, but in my life, at least, it has worked. Look, if we see the population of a country where we live and the percentage of people who has cheated us, it's very little. So for that 1 or 2 persons, we start distrusting the whole system, the entire population of the earth. In my opinion, it's not warranted for. But yes, if you have any question, any doubt, anything in your mind, instead of keeping it to yourself, you must put them in discussions, in talking, resolve them. Not because somebody has, oh my God, I think some girl must have cheated you. But have you decided not to have a life partner because of that? It's life. You get good, you get also bad, but that does not mean that I should shut my doors. I should be open. And I think the majority of people are good. If I am good, everyone is good. If I am bad, everyone is bad. It's 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 a mirror. The world is a mirror. You are able to see what you have inside. Try to change your inside. This entire universe, this entire world is a beautiful place to live.
Yeah, yeah. You know what has helped me personally a lot, and I think I would like to share this. What has helped me a lot in this process is, the idea that guru and disciple, even though a disciple recognizes the guru as, being in a very different place, in a much higher place of consciousness, that there is still, and you have always done this, you have always exuded this air that it is okay to be in an eye level conversation with you. You never deflect anybody who asks you a difficult question. You never get upset, and you never not answer. So this allows a disciple, and I think this is probably a crucial aspect of an enlightened teacher a disciple relationship, is that the disciple is always able to speak his deepest fears, to speak his mind, to speak his doubts, even if they seemingly go against the guru, because that's the only way to clear up any misunderstandings, any incongruences that we carry inside. At least that's my experience and my feeling. Tell me what you think about it, about what I just said. Am I wrong? Is this correct?
If someone has not permitted you in doing this, it is only because of his ego. And if I have that ego inside me, then where is the enlightenment? And then where is Guru? You see, if I cannot take the criticism of me, it is only because of the ego present in me that I'm always right. And if I'm not right, follow the rule number one, that I am always right. That is ego. And gurus, it's not me alone. Most of the enlightened people are away from the ego. You can ask them anything. They don't get hurt. And if they get hurt, if they get problem, then probably they are not enlightened.
Okay, so good. Yeah, this is good. Maybe one more thing here, because you were saying that the power of Sankalpa gets more, and you were specifically speaking about initiation for achievement. Now, does the power of Sankalpa also become more with initiation for enlightenment?
It does.
And it's just, okay, it does. And it is just the kind of intention that we have that becomes very different in one versus the other, right?
Yes, I mean, whatever you have, whatever is liking and you want to achieve it, we try to focus entire of your energy in that direction till you achieve it.
So the Sankalpa, so a person should come to you for initiation for enlightenment really only if they want enlightenment.
Yes, I mean, I definitely say this every time, and I again repeat it. You do not fool yourself. For an example, I gave, I met a person and he said, "Oh, I want deep spirituality and nothing will matter to me. I want everything, uh, and I want to leave the world, be in this, that, and everything." He spoke to me for about half an hour. Very nice conversation. And a great orator tried to convince me of everything. And then I asked him one question. You know, I feel your life partner is spiritual. And I feel that you have come to me because you want to be with your life partner. Do not waste your time to attain enlightenment if you want to make your life partner happy. Please tell me, we will be able to do something in that direction. And the second question from him was, oh my God, how did you know this? This is what exactly I wanted. Please help me in this. So, and you know, this has happened in front of you, so you probably know the whole story. Yes. Now, I want to request these people through you, maybe through this podcast, to the listeners or the friends of listeners, that whatever you really want, come with that. Otherwise, what happens? Success goes little far away. Okay. Uh, do not come or go to any guru for enlightenment if you are really not interested. If you are ready to work in this direction full heartedly, and then it's good. Enlightenment is a very, very nice thing, but if you want to work for it.
So, do you recommend for everybody to do, like, even people who don't want enlightenment? Do you, and those are many, I know by now. You remember you told me in the beginning when I met you, most people don't really want enlightenment. They can't even relate to it. They don't know what it is. But people do want to have a better life, right? They want to understand more. They want to be able to experience more. They want to be happy. They want to have more. This it's much more common, obviously, and for good reason, I think, because it's more relatable for people. But do you recommend for anybody who wants that, who wants a better life, who wants to, who wants more fullness in their life, to take an initiation for achievement?
Look, I think in most of my workshops, seminars, I always tell everybody to incorporate little spirituality in their day to day life. And that enhances their personal happiness, that enhances the way in which they think. It changes actually the way in which they think. Uh, the expectations comes a little down. Sadness is the son of expectation, a child of expectation. So if expectation is not there, your sadness level also goes down. I definitely recommend everyone to incorporate some spirituality in their life.
When you say some spirituality, you
And
mean initiation for achievement, or?
a basic initiation also. You can have a basic initiation for general happiness. And I mean, without initiation also you can incorporate some spirituality if you want, by reading few good things, by listening to few good things, and then slowly the initiation will those things will automatically take you to initiation. But if you incorporate little bit of spirituality, your anger, your shame, your uh, all other these emotions, fear, everything goes down, and you are happier in your life.
It's interesting. In another conversation you and I had in the ashram last year, where I asked you about the essence of what changes with initiation, you were saying as an answer, and I thought that was really interesting. Ultimately, it completely restores your self confidence.
It does. It does. Uh, you see, the biggest benefit of walking on the spiritual path is that it enhances your self confidence. Yes. And the first benefit of walking on a spiritual path is also that it enhances your self confidence.
Yeah. I had an interesting experience myself. When before I got initiated, I had a lot more fear, or before this process, I had a lot more fear. And this fear had an interesting result, right? It made me
Yes.
driven in certain ways, right? It made me act in certain ways. It was a little bit frantic because it was based on fear, but it made me do things that now, when I think about them, I don't really want to do. So I don't know. Uh, you could almost say that in a weird way, it took away a little bit of my willpower. But because I'm much more happy now, I think, right? So I have less of an urge to, to do things to make myself feel better. But that had definitely some strange result on, for example, my eating behavior. Now I don't mind so much if I eat something where maybe I get a little bit of a belly or something. Whereas before I was really tough on myself because it was all based on fear. I think that is ultimately a beautiful, beautiful effect that the work has, but it also has some disadvantages, it seems like getting fat or something. So maybe you have something to share there.
No, you are perfectly right. Uh, you gain weight when you are happy.
Yes, you do.
Okay. But I mean, I think to our disciples, to our devotees, and to everybody, I always say that if you are in a spiritual path, do yoga in the morning, which will take care of this. Unfortunately, some of my disciples are not regular with yoga, and they tend to become little fat. And I think in your case, this is the age when people otherwise also gains a little weight. So you don't worry much.
The testosterone goes down.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Well, good. Okay, so we have a little bit more time, and I would like to get a little bit deeper into the different aspects of an initiation, right? So I understand, and this is not true, I believe, for the basic initiation, but for the initiation for achievement and the initiation for enlightenment, they consist both of four parts. And I think those parts are connecting to the mantra, then a removal, then a protection, and then an energy transfer.
Right.
Can you go into each one of those four parts for a minute, just to explain what they are, how this works?
Look, actually, I have already said that when a disciple comes for initiation, he is like a seed. It's very nice. Anyone, what is seed? Seed is something which is ready to leave its existence. So when disciple comes, this existence for disciple is ego. Now this seed has got infinite possibility. I'm sorry, the answer is little wrong, little long, but you will not be able to understand it unless I make it long. This seed has got infinite possibilities. Some bird can eat it, something can destroy it, it can remain in the ego and never goes on earth and over a period of time destroys itself. And the best seed is one which want to leave the ego and want to merge with earth. And if you are that seed, then you go to Guru. Now you have handed over yourself without the ego and want to leave your things, your big I. Now the responsibility of Guru here is to protect the seed, because when you are leaving your I, there is a possibility that something can damage you. So when energy transfers takes place, before than that, whatever adverse energy you have in you shall be removed, and then the real good energy be transferred, and we put a layer, an energetic layer to you, and that is called protection. It is all needed, because when you receive the right energy, you can also receive the so-called wrong energy. When you receive the positive energy, you also develop the capacity and capability to receive negative energy. And therefore, at every initiation, a removal has to be done and protection has to be done. This is what all four parts of initiations are. Guru transfers the source energy in you, the seed energy in you, gives you the seed mantra, removes the negative energy from you, puts in positive energy in you, and protect you till you become a tree.
And this removal is what's the most resource, energy, and time intensive process of the whole process, right? It's the removal.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. Yet before you do the removal, you usually do the connection to the seed mantra, right?
Yes,
You start with
we
that.
do.
But
Yes, we start with that.
so you're connecting with the seed mantra, but you haven't transferred the energy yet, or only a little bit, right?
Yes.
Because, and if I understand this correct, can you explain this? Why you're not doing, why you're doing the energy transfer after the removal?
Because you see, if negative energy is there in you, whatever is there in you, negative emotions are there in you. If you see, you take a pot, you take a glass, if it is filled with mud, you cannot fill it with water. So, what you have to do, whatever your glass is filled with, you have to empty it to fill with the right substance you want to fill with. So, removal, you give a seed mantra so that person prepares himself, then you remove the negative energy from it, transfers positive energy to it, and then protect it from the damages from outside, so that this seeds it starts growing inside you.
So when you do the removal, you always speak about burning the seventh body, right? So what you're doing in the removal, you're particularly being busy with a specific energetic aspect of the person, which is called the seventh body. Now, what exactly is the seventh body? Is this our emotional body? Is this where all our emotions are stored, or what is this?
Yeah, it is emotional body. It is body not in the physical form. It is uh, connected to your seven chakras, which are also called capacitor. So whatever the negativity gets stored there, it remains in form of a in a human form, invisible human form, and that we call seventh body, and we destroy it with the mantras, create a new seventh body. I mean, it's again the same thing, removal of adverse energies and filling the right energy.
What I haven't understood yet 100% is that that burning of the seventh body is complete after the energy transfer has happened. Yes.
No, energy transfer takes place later. If you have seen the whole, if you have seen the whole process, first I give mantra, then I take he, then disciple chants a little bit, okay, and then I take him for the fire ritual, okay, where removal takes place, and after removal, after the fire ritual is complete, energy transfer and protection takes place.
Okay, so the burning of the seventh body is complete the moment you put the protection in.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm not understanding 100% is that people after the initiation, if the seventh body is completely burned, why do they still have emotional inflictions? And why does it still take years after initiation to do work until those emotional afflictions slowly, and again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it takes years for everybody, but at least that's my personal experience. And I'm sure people who are further, it takes less, and some other people, it takes more. But why does it still take time after the initiation? And why does it still take work after the initiation? And then only slowly, step by step, those emotions disappear if the seventh body is
Be-
already burned.
no, no, you see, nothing gets completely destroyed. Uh, your the emotions which you had in the seventh body, the negativity of what you had is present in every part of your body, in your blood. If you remember, in some of the rituals, we say chant for 2 weeks because every time you chant, something goes away. Every time you chant, something goes away. Every time you chant, something goes away. And slowly it goes away. But most of the things, you see, most of the things happens at the time of initiation. Something which remains in you goes away from you later.
So that there is an immediate difference with initiation that is.
Not immediate. You see, do not expect a magic. But yes, your negativity gets burnt, so slowly it will go away from you. But do not expect that the moment I get up, I'll be a different person. Please don't. And in few cases, there had been miracles that they started feeling very good right after initiation. But uh, usually that does not happen. This negativity remains in your blood, it remains in other parts of things, but your storage system gets empty. So slowly other things also starts uh, going away from you.
So, from what I understand, when a person starts playing with the idea of wanting to get an initiation, you usually give them a set of things to consider about their guru or their potential guru, and to really ask themselves if this person is the right choice for them. I think you always make a very big point out of it, to make sure that the person makes a very strong decision, and they know exactly that that's what they want. And then you do the same thing, the way I understand it, right? You also choose very carefully the people you initiate, and also for good reason, I believe.
Yes.
And I think one of the reasons is that once an initiation is completed, there is a invisible connection that now exists between disciple and guru that is forever. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes, it is very, very correctly you understand. And that is why a system was developed. It is not my system. I think the systems is with most enlightened guru, that the first choice to choose a guru goes to disciple. So if somebody comes to me, I tell him guru should have this, guru should have this, guru should have this. Just see me whether I have them or not. Decide for yourself, and at least I should have 60 to 65%, 70% of these qualities. No one is 100% perfect. So do not look perfection in me, but you look at least that I'm able to match those 60 to 70% of the qualities before you choose me guru. If you think I do not have them, please stop here.
What has wondered me always when I saw them, because you pulled them out of some ancient tantric Sanskrit book, and
Yes, yes, yes. It's not original. It's not my
yeah,
original idea. It is from. I mean, it is there. Most of the gurus they used to do it, and I follow it very religiously and very. I mean, I'm very particular about it. But yes, it it was there. It was in existence. I have just taken it. Now, yeah. Now, if he finds that yes, I am perfect, Guru is perfect for him, and he decides. Till he has not decided, Guru should not test a disciple. When he has decided, then I ask him few questions, whether to understand whether uh, he is the right choice for me or not. And then I tell him, look, this is a very big decision you are making. Consider it again. Okay. Uh, Before going ahead, you must consider it again. And if he says yes, and then of course I say him yes or no, fine, he says.
good. You know what has always wondered me about these criteria, to just go back to those criteria again for a moment, what has always wondered me is that some of those seem to be very strange. They are like, your guru needs to have 10 fingers and both hands intact. And, there are things in there that are physical things that seem really irrelevant for a process like enlightenment. I mean, who cares if you have two hands or one? To be able to guide somebody,
There
what's
are,
important seems to be that you're enlightened and that you know the technology and you know the path and you are able to feel where a person is at and what they need next, not if you have 10 fingers or 9.
you look, question is whether you are complete or not, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and if you are not complete, you are not a guru. Whatever. You may be a very nice human being, Okay. Here you see the traditional tantra, if you see, if you do not have power, if you do not have feminine with you are not entitled and authorized to initiate anybody. You should have a wife. I mean, you should be perfect, a complete human being in all respect to guide your disciple. And if you are not, I think, you know what? You go to our armed forces, if something is not there, don't take it. Maybe that there is no meaning. But yes, these are the requirements. The basic requirement for the enlightenment is the completeness.
I mean, you yourself told me about a guru a very long time ago, several thousand years ago. He was one of the most famous gurus of all time. I think his name was Guru Ashtavaka.
Mhm.
And he was a cripple, right? Physically. He was completely mashed physically. But yet he brought forth one of the most famous enlightened people ever, right?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, you see, again, these criteria, it says if you are able to get 60%, go ahead. It has never said that 100%.
It's fluid.
It's a fluid, yeah. So,
What's
but
behind
here,
it is that there should be a complete force behind it, right?
yes, yes. The idea is, I mean, uh, when it's not an ideal to form a rule, but idea was to tell the disciple that if your guru is not complete, please don't take him. If you find me as your guru and you find that I'm incomplete, then you are taking a wrong guru. This is the whole thing, what 10, 15 points you have is to communicate this.
And how is this the other way around? Because the disciple will obviously not be complete, because the whole idea is to get the disciple on a path of becoming complete. But there are
See,
similar criteria, right?
no,
Also,
they are not similar. You see, they are not similar. Maybe the fingers and everything may be similar, but otherwise, if a guru sees no possibility in a disciple to attain the completeness, he usually refuses him to initiate. But these all things are not for basic initiation, they are not for initiation for achievements, they are only applicable for initiation for enlightenment.
okay, okay, that's good to know.
Yes.
Okay, good, good. So we're running a little bit out of time. I have about 50 more questions for you on this. Maybe we'll do another part of this
Episode.
in a while.
Okay.
But what I would like to ask you in the end, so we have determined now that initiation gives us a stronger sankalpa, which means more intention, right? It gives us a lot more energy to the point where we can eventually self-realize. Again, it depends if it's initiation for achievement or enlightenment, but even if it's for achievement, it will eventually lead us to the fulfillment of our desires, or it will remove the desires, which is also a fulfillment of desires in a way, because it doesn't bother us anymore. But so my question is there any other way you know about to achieve what can be achieved with initiation? Is there any other way to create a sankalpa as strong as it can be with initiation? Is there any other way to create a gain in spiritual energy for a person that is comparable with an initiation? Is there any other way to do what can be done with an initiation and with the work with a guru, with the consecutive work with a guru?
I don't know.
Do you know about any way?
No. That's what I've already answered that I do not know. But as far as I know, I think I have spent a lot of time in it.
Yes, 45 years or
Uh,
something.
and yes, and I have not found any other way other than this to reach enlightenment. There may be, but maybe I have yet to come to know about them. If somebody has it, maybe they can sometimes educate me also, and then we can start discussing about them. But excuse me for my ignorance, I think I do not have, and I feel it does not exist.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm particularly asking because about 3 days ago or 4 days ago, there was a post posted on Guru Bhaneswaranand. I think you posted it that, that was basically explaining that you're open to finding alternate pathways to achieve this, but so far you have only discovered the path through spiritual initiation. And also you have even said that you're challenging your students to bring you anything that can lead there, and will evaluate it, or you'll evaluate it and you will
Evaluate it, yeah. Yes.
evaluate it, and then obviously also take it in, right?
Yes,
Because
why not?
you're interested in helping people achieve enlightenment, I believe.
Yes, number one, for me, what is right is more important than who is right. The first thing. The wisdom should be there, whether it has come from me or it has come from somebody else, that should not matter. And anything which is right should prevail. And one more thing I would like to say, not challenging my students, but I'm requesting them, if they find some paths, please discuss with me.
How many people have you helped reach enlightenment so far?
7. It's a good figure.
7, wow. It is a good figure, I believe, right? I mean, it sounds kind of like low in the times of, mass social media, where thousands of people go for things, but this is not easy to achieve. And it seems like enlightened teachers, they don't usually have high numbers of disciples that they are able to guide to this high goal, I guess.
You are right. I consider myself very lucky to have 7.
Okay. With these words, I wish that you will have many more in this lifetime, and that through also this work that we're doing here, through this podcast, we will be able to make people aware that this exists and that this is a real thing, and it's not some fad or some ancient story, but it is a very real thing, and it is very achievable for those who want. I think you said in the past that anybody who puts their effort and their mind to it can achieve it in this lifetime. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Wonderful. With these words, I think, thank you so much for joining us. It was, as always, incredibly enlightening, and I will see you next week.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to another episode of Guru Talks. Share this episode with anyone who wants to be enlightened by Guru Bhaneswaranand, and don't forget to click subscribe.